Let me show you what I'm doing in Buzz. It's a bit like Slack mixed with an agent manager. And right now I've got it working on building out an API for an app that I built, which is our team at Wasp. We're trying to tweet more. So we just have like this leaderboard with stats that shows, how we're tweeting, how many impressions we've got, just to kind of build a habit of tweeting more. And I want to build an API so that an agent can curl it and get some stats. And what I want to do is then get the agent in Buzz, kind of create a cron job around it so that it is pulling the stats every day and will inform us in a channel. So I want to say let's merge and deploy. And this app that I built is a Wasp app, so it's got like one command deploys to the CLI and stuff like that as a full stack app, which is really nice because you can just give it commands like that and it will deploy again. And you can see that I've tagged Fizz, the agent, and it's doing its thing. And we can look down here and we can see the activity. And you can actually see what's going on in Claude code here. So, right, Wasp deploy, Railway deploy, simple. The nice thing is that even when it's doing a lot of activity in the background, it gives you like a status update saying, it's going to compile, it's going to commit to main, push to GitHub, and then it's going to deploy. So that's cool to see in the chat when that's happening in the background. The other interesting thing is that you set a folder and it works in worktrees in that special Buzz folder so that it's not really touching your stuff or messing with your local repository too much. All right, so it returned a message saying shipped and it's live in production and it's got the API working. So with an example of what commands you can curl. So that's really cool. Now I want to set up a channel that is kind of like a cron job for an agent that reports these stats every morning. So let's at Fizz again, create a new channel in Buzz with a recurring job that returns the member stats daily in the morning, something like that, morning. All right, so that took a little bit, but it created a channel called Tweet Stats. And I was able to click here, join the channel, and now it's got like it hits that API and then parses the info and puts a little table out. Probably shouldn't be using this agent. I should probably be using one on a lower model. So maybe I could just go ahead and create a new agent from scratch, call it Tweeter, and let's say grab the tweet stats from the URL and parse the info, make sure to, okay, and then we use Claude Code. And agent, we want probably Haiku would probably work for that. So let's just try it. Save it. Okay, so Tweeter's up and running. And then I'll go to the tweet stats and say to Fizz, I want you to delegate this recurring job to, and what did we call him again? Tweeter. All right, they replied in this thread, and you see, yep, they did it, switched it over. So now Tweeter will send the tweet stats every morning. This probably would be better to send an event from the API, like a cron job from the app. But this is just an example that shows like how you can delegate stuff and move stuff around. And in a way, this is reminding me more of OpenClaw, like ClaudeBot or Hermes agent or one of these things. So it's kind of tying in a bunch of different tools into one. We've got like OpenClaw, an agent manager, like Herdr or something like that. And then the Slack, obviously, the chat. One really cool thing that separates these from all the others is that there's this sharing compute option. So when you run a relay and you're the owner of a relay, you can choose to share compute that's local on your machine with other members. And then it suggested that I use Gemma 4 as a local model, small local model that I could share compute with the other teammates in the team. And the way you can do that is you turn it on. And this is like a really powerful option because you could put a community together that has a local, maybe put funds together that have a really beefy local machine running a nice local model, and you could share that compute. And then what you would do is go back to the agents, create an agent, and under here you'd choose Buzz agent as the harness, and then that would use your local compute. When you choose LLM provider, you could go to Buzz shared compute. So that's a really cool option. And another thing that people don't really mention is that because it's built on Nostr, so Nostr is an open protocol, and it's basically just like events that you can publish or subscribe to. And it's already being tightly used with Bitcoin Lightning. And I could see that in the future, communities grow, maybe open communities, and people can send instant micro payments this way through Nostr and Bitcoin Lightning. So I'm kind of imagining a future where like communities get formed and people can tip each other instantly with zero fees via Lightning, Bitcoin Lightning, or you can pay for compute or agent tasks with micropayments. Like this would be a really cool interesting use case for Buzz in the future, which I do think will come around. I think we'll eventually see other apps that are on Nostr, since they're all on this open protocol, you could essentially connect to them. So that's, I think, a really cool future feature for Buzz. So yeah, that's just kind of what I think about it. Some things that I don't really like about it is that what the agent is doing in the background, you're used to seeing, you can look at the activity, but you're used to seeing stuff happen in your terminal, and you can't really do that here, which I kind of don't like. I would like to be able to have a terminal view so we can actually see like the Claude session being run in a way. Something like that might be interesting, or maybe it's something the people who are used to doing that kind of feel a little bit too abstracted in this kind of UI. But other than that, I mean, it's a beta, very early preview, maybe even alpha. So I think this could go pretty far. I like using it. I like this way of interacting. I can imagine working with a team together with other teammates on stuff this way. So yeah, I really like it so far. And I think the future of this shared compute and being on Nostr is really cool.